everybody. Maybe today you want to grab a bolster or a pillow or roll up a blanket or a towel or something like that. And maybe you'd like to grab some blocks or some cans or something just to raise up your floor a little bit. Don't necessarily have to be blocks, or you can have a couple books. And turn on your favorite yoga music if you'd like. I'm enjoying actually practicing without music. It's nice, but that's just me. So you decide what you'd like to do. And when you're ready, have a seat on your mat or on the floor, finding your comfortable upright position. Maybe your legs are crossed, maybe they're not. And begin to settle into your breath. Just noticing the sensations of your breath. The legs begin to relax. The spine begins to lengthen. As your shoulders melt down the back, releasing tension all the way down to the fingers. Your jaw softens. And you bring awareness to the neck and to the chin and the head. If the chin is tucked, begin to roll up the neck to find that neutral chin, as if you're holding a orange or a tennis ball between the chin and the chest, or the chin and the neck. So not tucked in, you're not holding tight. Chin is slightly tucked back, so you find length through the back of the neck. And it's just ever so slightly tucked back, nothing big. You're not trying to create a double chin. Just tuck back, lengthen, finding that very neutral neck space. The earlobes are floating above the shoulders, and the shoulders are floating above the hips. And tune back into your breath. Again, noticing the sensations of your breath. Where you feel the breath inside and outside of the body. As the breath enters the body, can you feel it? Can you feel it, rather, in more spaces, filling up the lungs? All the way up past the collarbones, all the way to the sides of the body. Do you notice the temperature of the breath as it exits, as it enters? Perhaps as each breath comes in, you deepen even more. With each exhalation, allow more air to exhale the body. Finding yourself a little more centered in your space, on your mat, in your practice. As you inhale, arms float up, maybe the eyes open, maybe they stay closed. As you exhale, hinge forward to find your compassionate edge. Take your time. Be very mindful in practice today. Notice, were you able to keep the chin in that neutral position, or did you round and tuck through the spine and neck and chin? Find length again. Maybe you unhinge just slightly. You broaden through the collarbones and send the shoulder blades down the back. Return to your breath. As you inhale, walk the hands over to the left side, finding a twist and a fold. And you're gently rooting into the right side of your hip, twisting at the low ribs. Bringing awareness to that front arm. Extend your right arm out and up above the head. Open up the chest, bringing the arm down, and just make big circles with your arm, very slowly. Going to have a little movement in the waist, in the shoulder, but head and neck stay neutral. Next time your hand comes close to the ground, find that twist and fold and pause. Walk the hands center, pause here. Maybe you'd like to spider walk the hands out a bit more, finding a new compassionate edge. Stay rooted into the sit bones, finding length through the spine all the way through the back of the neck and head. Continue to find your breath. Noticing the sensations and quality of the breath. On an inhalation, walk the hands to the right side, twist and fold, gently rooting into the left sit bone, twisting at the waist. Bringing awareness to your front hand, and the left hand reaches up. Begin to open up the chest as you draw the arm down toward the knee and around, creating your big circles. Moving with breath. Last time around. Being mindful of each position and bringing your hand back to the ground or mat. Twist and fold. Walk the hands to center, perhaps finding your new compassionate edge. Begin to root down through the sit bones just a bit more. Engage the core. Lift the hands above the mat or floor and rise. At the top, lengthen your arms, palms face one another. Lengthen all the way through the elbows, through the wrists, through the fingers. Sending the shoulders softly down the back. You lengthen through the sides of the body. Now notice if you're bringing tension into your legs. See if you can release that tension. Allow the sit bones and legs to root down. Crown of the head moving up toward the sky. Fingers moving up toward the sky. One more breath. On this next exhalation, lower the left hand down, side bend, staying long through the right side of the body. Notice what you just did with your head. Want to keep the ear in line with the arm. Perhaps you're having some shoulder tightness today and that doesn't feel good to turn the palm over the head or to keep the palm over the head. Palm faces forward in that case and just reach upward through the arm instead of up and out. As you find your pose, just settle into your breath, noticing the breath in the right side of the body. As you inhale, arms float up, pausing here, lengthen again through the sides of the body. Relax the legs, send the shoulders down the back, relax the neck. Find your breath. Deep inhale, complete exhale. On your next exhalation, right hand comes down, hinging to your side bend, finding length in the left side of the body. Being mindful of the head placement, being mindful of the left hip, and then mindful of the breath moving into the left side of the body. Both arms float up. Inhale. Intertwine your fingers, roll the palms up. Bring the hands to the heart center position. Press the palms outward. Broaden through the collarbones a little bit. Tuck the chin into the chest. Let the head hang. As you inhale, bring the palms back to the ceiling, to the sky. Gaze upward if that feels okay on your neck. Press the palms up. Relax your legs. Deep inhale, and on your exhalation, clear the sky. Excellent. Taking note of your front leg or whatever leg you want to remember there, and extend your legs down the mat. Take a moment to roll the ankles, and you can do this with both feet moving in the same direction or opposite. And then switch direction. Begin to sit up nice and tall if you're not yet. Rooting down through the sit bones, lengthening up through the neck, through the crown of the head. Good. And pause. I'm going to turn. Rooting down into the heels. Maybe the knees bend so that you can free up the hips. So if you find that you're tucking the tailbone as you're seated, because you have really tight hamstrings, then bend the knees. Lift up through the spine. And that's okay. That's beautiful. Find proper alignment to help aid in your stretches. Arms float up. Inhale. As you exhale, hinge forward, extend the ankles, float up, raise the arms, flex the ankles, fold forward, extend, rise and flex. And continue this motion. Let's do 3 more times. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Last time. Exhale. Inhale. Keeping the ankles flexed. Clear the sky. Resting the hands wide back behind. Lift the spine up and over a big beach ball, as if that beach ball is stable, not going to roll away, and you can just lift and rest the head back behind. Deep, full breath. And exhale out of the posture. Recross the legs with your opposite leg as your lead leg. And again, it doesn't have to, you do not have to come back to a seated position. You do have to come back to a seated position, but you don't have to come back to a cross-legged position. Your choice. Legs out, both legs out, one leg out, whatever feels good. Begin to root back down into your sit bones. Take a moment to just notice, perhaps closing the eyes or just a soft gaze downward, keeping the neck upright, lengthening through the spine, rooting through the sit bones and legs. Noticing your posture, making any fine-tune adjustments that you need to make. Relaxing all the way to the fingers and toes. Tuning into your Ujjayi breath if you'd like. Allowing your jaw to soften. Allow the mind to practice non-attachment. And perhaps today, allow your emotions to just be what they want to be. We try to control and suppress and push down, and oftentimes that makes things worse or bigger. An emotion really only lasts a few moments until we start harboring them and holding them. So let them process out. So notice, how do you feel? And just let those feelings be. Maybe you're frustrated in practice today. Maybe you're really happy. There's no judgment. Just notice. Becoming the silent observer to your emotions, to your state of mind. There's no judgment. You just notice. Okay, that's how I feel. Nothing wrong with it. And I encourage you as you practice today to stay in tune with how you feel mentally, and just notice as you practice if things shift. Try not to control, just notice. Being present in your practice with your breath and with connection to your body. As you inhale, arms float up, bringing the palms to Anjali Mudra, prayer pose at heart center. And take a moment, if you'd like, to set an intention, your positive present tense statement for practice. Perhaps it's I'm connected, or I notice. I let go. As you set your intention, take a moment with it. Breathe it in. Begin to notice any changes. There doesn't have to be change. Just notice. As you breathe in your intention. As you inhale, hands and arms rise, slowly hinging forward to find your compassionate fold, keeping your spine in line all the way up to the crown of the head. On this next inhalation, walk the hands to the right side, twist and fold. Maybe you're moving a little deeper into this posture. You decide what feels correct and right for you today. Bringing awareness to that front hand, the left hand. Take the hand over to the left knee, up over the head, back down to the floor, drawing your big circle. And one more time. Lowering down. Walk your hands center, perhaps spider walk the hands out a bit further, finding a compassionate fold. Shoulder blades gently melt down the back, no force. Find length through the spine as you root into the sit bones. Walk over to the left, twist and fold. The front hand sweeps, that's the right hand, over to the right. Begin to open up the chest. Bring the arm over the head, lower back down. Nice and slow. Moving with breath. Last time. Walk the hands center, perhaps a new compassionate edge. Begin to root down through the sit bones, drawing the core in. Arms lift, unhinge, floating to the ceiling, to the sky. Lengthen through the side body. Send your shoulder blades down the back, lengthening all the way up through the arms, through the fingers, and palms face one another. Deep inhale, complete exhale. On your next exhale, right hand comes down, left hand over the top. Float back up to neutral, keep the right hand down, and hinge again. And rise, and hinge. One more time, rise, and hinge. Pause here. Float both arms up, lengthen through the sides of the body, up through the arms, send shoulder blades down the back, relax the legs. Take your deep inhale and complete exhale. On your next exhale, left hand comes down, find your side bend, rise, keeping left hand down, side bend. Rise, side bend, and last time, rise, side bend. Pause here. And float both arms up, intertwining the fingers here at the top. Roll the palms up, bringing the hands to heart level, heart center. This time, round through the shoulders. Last time we opened up the collarbones, round through the shoulders, press out through the palms, and a slight tuck to the chin, allowing the neck to stretch. Let the head just draw the neck long. Maybe there's a little tuck to the tailbone. Feel the shoulder blades begin to open and spread apart. On this inhalation, stack the spine, lift the palms back to the ceiling, lift all the way through the chin, relax the legs. Deep inhale, and on your exhalation, release and clear the sky. Good, extend the legs out, rotate those ankles. Again, you can do it both feet at the same time or opposite, and switch direction. Begin to find that seated position, maybe bending the knees to help free up the hips a little bit. Starting with extended ankles, really point those toes down, lengthen through the spine. Arms float up, inhale. Fold forward, flex the ankles. Exhale, rise, extend, fold, and flex. And continue this. This time, hold the fold. Float the arms up, extend the ankles. Clear the sky. Reach back, squeeze shoulders, lift up and over that big beach ball or your exercise ball, keeping length all the way up to the crown of the head. Inhale and exhale, release out of the posture. Bring your feet together, knees apart in bound angle. Sitting up nice and tall, stack the spine. Bound angle B. Relax your legs. Pulling the heels in as much as you're comfortable without straining. Find your compassionate edge. Connecting to your breath. One more breath, deep inhale. As you exhale, relax through the pose. Slide your feet out, keeping the feet together. Hands touch down on the legs or the ground. Begin to lengthen the spine, then tuck the chin in, head diving down. Roll through the spine, shoulder blades open up. At the very end, tuck the tailbone. And just pause here. Perhaps you go down a little deeper where the head comes down to the feet. Begin to stack the spine, walk your hands in. Coming upright, lift through the crown of the head. Send shoulder blades down the back. Bring the knees up and come around onto all fours, however you'd like to get there. From tabletop position, open the knees wide and bring the big toes so they're touching. You can curl the toes if that's more comfortable. As we go into the pose, you decide. Experiment, see what feels good. Come down onto your forearms. Elbows out and palms come together in prayer position. Reach the chest and the chin forward, perhaps past your fingers. Then take the hips to the heels and bring the thumbs to the back of the neck. Come forward, so forearms come down, shift your body forward and back. You have that option to curl the toes, see what that feels like. Forward, back. Last time, forward. Back. I'm going to curl my toes this time and get a stretch through my feet. Release the hands down. Hands come underneath the shoulders, begin to rise. If you have curled feet, go ahead and uncurl them. If this bothers your knees in any way, grab your block or your bolster, blanket, whatever, and have a seat on your block, your books, your blanket, your pillow. Sitting up nice and tall. Hands are going to reach down back behind you. They do not have to touch the floor. They can just hang. But squeeze your shoulders together and lift up and over that beach ball. If you'd like to add on, you'll lift your hips up off whatever you're seated on. Press the hips forward. Engage the back of the body. Lift the heart upward and maybe release the head back. Moving the body equally, lower down, and find upright posture. You can keep whatever you have nearby if you're seated on something. Remove it and walk your hands out. I'm going to scoot back so I have room here in my space. Walk your hands forward. You'll shift your weight forward to start. Begin to shift your weight hips toward the heels. They don't have to touch. You can always curl the toes if you want. Make sure not to overstretch here. Don't press the chest through the arms. Be kind to the joints. Engage through the upper back a little bit. So instead of reaching and stretching through the armpits right now, pull the arm bones into the shoulder sockets. Let the head hang, or maybe it might feel better to have the head touch the mat or floor. Now shift your weight back a little bit more. Release those arms. So you're stretching through the armpits a bit more. Avoid sinking the chest down. Stay engaged through your core. As you inhale, shift your body forward and up. Walk the hands or knees in, just depending on where you need room in yours or where you need to be on your mat, and if you have room in your space. If you'd like, sit on your block or bolster or whatever it is you were using. You can always curl those toes if you'd like here. Reach back behind. Maybe the hands touch down. Lift up and over the big beach ball. The next add-on is pressing the hips forward. So you're pressing the hips toward your the wall that you can look at straight ahead, and the heart is moving upward. Maybe you release the head back. Equally moving out of the posture, so the meaning not one side of the body comes down first. Everything is moving right and left at the same time. And just pause. Find your way into tabletop position. Root down through the fingers, the heels of the hands, soften up the palms. Lift your right knee. We're just going to lift it out, bring it back in, out and in, out and in. Pause, neutral. Keeping your knee bent, lift up, bring back in, up and in, up and in. Last time. And release down. Same thing, opposite side. So the left knee moves out and in. Try to keep the hips square here. Keeping your knee bent, lift up, come back down. Front of the ribs, pulling inward. Last time. And lower down. Knees, hips width apart. Wrists or shoulder width apart. Shift your weight forward. You can curl the toes here if you want. And hips to the heels. Shift your weight forward. Really press down into each finger pad. And hips to heels. Forward. One more time. Forward. Hips to heels. Come back to neutral. Keeping your toes curled. Moving into cow-cat position or cat-cow position, whatever you want to call it. Start with the toes. Begin to press the toes out. Lift up through the tailbone. Lower the belly. Lift up through the crown of the head. Begin to tuck the crown of the head down. Rounding through the spine, tuck tailbone, curl the toes. Start with the feet. Lengthen through the feet. Lift the tailbone. Roll through the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head. Start with the crown of the head, trying to isolate each section of the body. Last, the toe. Start with the toes. Inhale. Start with the crown of the head. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Come to neutral. Walk your hands over to the right side. Tuck the chin, round into cat. Tuck the tailbone, stretch through the right side of the body. Deep, full breaths. Uncurl the toes. Stay in this C position. Walk the hands in and back. Lower the hips toward the right heel. Once you come down onto the heel, walk your hands out further. And you're still twisting there to lengthen the right side of the body. Begin to rise, tuck, tailbone, tuck the chin in, and walk the hands center, and find a neutral spine. Start with your toes curled. Walk over to the right side. Round into cat, tuck, tailbone, tuck, chin. Opening up the left side of the body. Breathe into the left side. Keeping the hips over to the left, uncurl the toes, lower toward the left heel. Once you're down in that position, walk your hands further over to the right side. I know, lots of rights and lefts. Keep breathing. Tucking through tailbone, tuck, chin, rise into that curved cat. Walk hands center. And pause, finding neutral. Hands come forward, lower all the way down onto the chest and belly. Make sure you have all your props out of the way. Coming into Sphinx pose. Now in Sphinx pose, you might want to have wider legs, but maybe hips width is most comfortable to you. You decide. So see how my elbows are back here by my waist? Slide your elbows underneath your shoulders. There's a nice, good 90-degree angle. Press down into the palms, the wrists, the elbows, the forearms. Send your shoulders down the back as you lengthen through the crown of the head. Broaden your collarbones. Instead of sinking down toward the mat, toward the floor, press the rib cage away from the floor, from your mat. Lower down, open up the elbows, send your right hand underneath your chin or your cheek or your forehead. Left hand, sorry. Left hand underneath cheek or forehead or chin. Right hand back behind to hold on to the right foot. Tuck the tailbone, especially the bottom part of the tailbone. You want to tuck right here, bottom part of the hips rather. Zip up the core. Think length to the quadricep. Your right shoulder is rolling toward the spine. Release. Sphinx pose. Elbows in toward the armpits and underneath your shoulders. Relax your legs. Pausing here if you'd like, but if you'd like to add on, open up the hands to the diagonals. Press down into the wrists and into the fingers. Maybe hover the elbows, straightening out the arms. Send your shoulders down your back. Lengthen through the back of the neck as you broaden through the collarbones. Relax your legs. Lowering to the arm. Right hand for sure this time. Right hand comes underneath chin or forehead or cheek, and left hand to the left foot. Tuck tailbone, tucking bottom of the hips down especially. Pull up through the core. Send your left shoulder blade in toward the spine. As you exhale, release. Hands come by the heart, lifting up into knee plank. From knee plank, walk the legs in and around and come down onto the sit bones. Making sure you have plenty of room back behind you and have your bolster nearby. We'll eventually come to that, and just in a position where you can reach it easily. And lower down onto your back. Left foot stays on the mat. Extend your right leg so that your ankle is straight above your hip. And you can hold on, or maybe if you have a strap, you can put the strap around your foot and hold on that way. What you're going to do is curl the tailbone. See, if you put your hands underneath your bum, you want to feel the tailbone lift. And then lower the tailbone all the way back to the mat. So you need to move your hands then. So you're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. One more time. Lift, lower. Now see if you can do that just with the raised leg, with the right side. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Tailbone curls a little bit and lower. Pause here. Walk the hands up the leg a little bit more, or hold on to the strap a little bit higher. Press your tailbone down. Keeping your right hip down, take your leg over to the left side. Doesn't have to be a big motion, so make sure you're not rolling all the way over. You want to keep your hip pressing down to have contact with the floor or mat. Shoulder blades relaxed, resting down on the mat. Moving into reclined cow face pose, bend your raised leg and pull the left leg, the bottom leg, in toward the raised leg. hold on to the shins, or maybe hold on to the ankles. Be mindful if you're holding on to the feet, not to stretch the ankles too much. You can really pull. I have very flexible ankles, and so I need to be more mindful of keeping them in alignment and flexed. So I just like to hold on to the ankles or the shins. Send your tailbone down to the mat and outward. Actively lengthen your spine here. As you uncross and release this pose, the left foot goes back to the mat. The right leg comes up and out to the right side. Maybe you'd like to open up the left knee, but you don't have to. You can keep that knee pointing toward the ceiling. You can use your elbow as a kickstand to help support the body. You can slide that hand all the way to the foot and have gravity draw the leg down. Notice what your left hip is doing. Did it lift up off the floor? If it did, press it back down. Transition now into reclined pigeon. So hoist that right leg up. Bring the right ankle to left knee. Square off the hips, square off the knees, and tuck the legs into the chest. Here you want to avoid your right leg. It's the hip we're stretching. Avoid having that leg come into the chest. Press the leg away from the chest, keeping your hips square. Here I like to keep my ankles flexed as well, because I can start to overstretch through the ankle on one side, and that's never a good thing. I want to stay balanced. So I just stay flexed. Send your shoulder blades down the back, rooting into your mat. Send your tailbone back down to the mat or floor, wherever you're practicing today. And release. Shake out your right leg a little bit. Shimmy that leg around. I'm going to turn around so I have room. I'm going to hit the wall if I stretch my left leg. So take a moment to adjust any way you need to adjust. And we'll meet with left leg in the air, right foot on the mat. Tuck the tailbone. Press the tailbone down. Tuck and press. Press down now, and now only try to lift the left side. It's not going to be as big of a motion. And think femur bone here. The femur bone lifts, the femur bone presses down. The femur bone lifts and presses down. And bring that tailbone and the femur bone down. Walk the hands further up the leg or up the strap. Relax your shoulders. Relax the jaw. Find your breath. I don't know if you can hear that, but my stomach's growling, so sorry about that. Left leg moves across the body, so you're crossing your ankle over the center line of your body and keeping your left hip down. Reclined cow face pose, holding on to the shins, ankles, and being mindful if you're holding on to the feet. Send your tailbone down to the mat and outward. As you come out of the pose, right foot to the mat or floor, left leg to the air and out all the way to the left side. Your right hip now, you want to root your right hip down to the mat. Maybe the right knee opens up, maybe it stays upward, but you do want to find that squared off position with your torso, equally touching the mat. Maybe you reach all the way to the foot. Hoisting the leg up, reclined pigeon pose, square off the hips, square off the knees, and then you lift the legs in toward the chest. Root down into the tailbone and back of the hips, as well as your shoulder blades. Tuning into your breath. Into this moment. And if you haven't throughout practice, now maybe tune in to your emotional state. How do you feel right now? Have you noticed a shift through practice? There's no right or wrong. You just notice, what are those feelings doing today? And sometimes you just have to go with the flow, ride the wave. Well, not sometimes, always. Always ride the wave of your emotions. Let them work themselves out instead of holding them in and pretending you feel a different way. Now there's something different than feeling a certain way and having a positive affirmation. Deep inhale and exhale, release, uncross. Bring the feet wide to the mat and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So maybe you're down in the dumps today, and that's okay. You still allow yourself to feel that, but you can give yourself a positive affirmation of, I feel great. I am happy, whatever that is, and you can repeat that. That's not hiding or running away from. That's just helping your body and mind to shift into something new. Last time. Excellent. So reach over and grab your bolster. Lift your hips, sliding the bolster just barely underneath your tailbone. So not all the way back behind the hips, not a full support. Slide it all the way down so it's just barely on the tailbone. And maybe you hold on to the sides of the bolster. Lift one leg maybe, or lift both legs, and send the lower back down. Arms then can continue to find support on the bolster, or you can stretch the arms out. You can bring the arms to the body. Send your shoulder blades down the back. Find stillness and softness in your legs. The softness goes all the way from the toes to the ankles, down into the knees, sending the femur bones heavy down into the hips, and the hips into the bolster, just the very top of the glutes into the bolster. And the back toward the mat. Wherever your arms are, they root down into those spaces and places. Back of the head gently roots back down. Make sure there's nothing underneath your head here. No extra blanket or anything. Again, notice, are you shifting? Are you moving? Maybe it's because you're uncomfortable. It's not that you feel unsafe, you just don't feel as comfortable as you normally would. And sometimes that's okay. So ride out being uncomfortable. This too will pass. But if you feel unsafe and feel like your body is going to be injured or harmed, then of course, please adjust and move. Relaxing into those spaces that touch down on a surface. Being very mindful of the breath now. Deep, full breath. Expand a little bit more through your breath as the face relaxes, the eyes, the lips, the furrow in your brow releases, the jaw relaxes. We'll have a very brief Shavasana, and you're welcome to stay in that position as long as you want. Closing practice there if you'd like. We'll take just a few more breaths here, finding stillness, especially in the legs. You are welcome to stay in this position or follow along and slowly, very, very slowly begin to bend the knees. And as your feet touch down, slide your bolster to the knees. Allow the legs to rest and the palms to turn up and the shoulder blades to melt down the back. Without too much movement, sink into Shavasana, finding stillness. Maybe even stillness of the mind, or maybe non-attachment. And taking a few more breaths there. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Unite our breath. Inhale, maybe the hands rise, maybe they just come to heart center. Again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. Hope to see you in person soon. Namaste. Enjoy Shavasana. Continue to relax and melt down.